Hi there, welcome back. Today we're going to be tackling paper 1 of the History IGCSE. As I mentioned before, we will have one video for each paper. Actually, for this paper, we'll have two videos because it's a bit too long, so we're going to divide it into two. When you take a close look at the first page of your paper, so let's say the front page of your paper, the first thing that calls your attention is the fact that you have only 2 hours to do it, which is not a lot. You will realize that at the beginning it's never going to be enough when you practice for it. But as you get used to it, as you practice more and more, it will be easier to understand the questions, what they're asking you to do, and therefore finish in time. I'm not going to say that practice is going to make you perfect, because that's not the only thing you must do to be able to pass with flying colors this exam. You need to study too. But that's kind of a given. This paper is going to be divided into two sections. You have your section A and section B. This is the most difficult paper to understand, okay? Which is not going to make it the most difficult paper per se. So section A has two questions. Each question is divided into an ABC task. You will have more options to choose from, but you must answer two. So two questions, each one with an ABC. And they are based on your core content. Section B, you have to answer only one question of the depth study that you choose to answer. Again, remember to try to study more than one just in case. And you have to answer an ABC task of the question you choose. So if we summarize that, it's divided into two sections. Section A is core content, section B is depth studies. Once you choose to answer one of them, so let's say I choose question 1, I must answer A, B, and C of question 1. I cannot answer A of 1 and B of 2 and C of 4. Never. You have to answer A, B, and C of the same question. So in total, you will have 3 tasks A, 3B, and 3C in only 2 hours. This is the second page of that paper. This is a paper that is uploaded on the Cambridge website, so it's a past paper. You will see, for example, here, by the way, 1, 2, 3, and 4, questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 are always based on the 19th century, and questions 5, 6, 7, and 8 are always based on the 20th century. So if you're sitting for the 20th century option, just don't look at 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you don't get confused. And if you're sitting for the 19th century option, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the ones that you must look at. Bear in mind that these videos are basically going to be giving examples of the 20th century. That's what we're going to start with. But if by any chance you want us to deal with the 19th century option too, let us know in the comments and we will be adding some videos on that too. So let's say again, if you want to answer question 1, you must answer A, B, and C of question 1. You must choose 2 questions in the section A, the core contents. So, for example, if you're sitting for the 19th century option, you would choose 1 and answer A, B, and C, and maybe you want to choose 3 and answer A, B, and C, and that will be enough. And then you must go to the core, to the depth study section. And each task A is worth 4 points, as you can see here. B's are 6, and C's are 10, basically because they are short essays. Here we have the options of the 20th century in the same paper. So 5, 6, 7, and 8, again, are always going to be the 20th century options. And then if you go to section B, which are depth studies, you'll have depth studies for both options, either 19th century or 20th century. Each one of the depth studies is going to be on a different page so far, and each one will have or will give you the option to choose from 2 questions. You must answer only one. So let's say that you choose 9, you must answer A, B, and C of 9, or you choose 10 and you answer A, B, and C of 10. Only one with their ABC. Task A is always going to be descriptive. Always. You need to mention, you need to list, okay? You need to very shortly describe something, but you don't need to explain, just need to mention what you know. On B, you will have to go a bit deeper and you will have to analyze something. They are usually questions of why. Why did something or something else happened? That's why, of course, you're worth more points because you need to give your explanation. Anyway, we will go into detail with each one of these tasks to see what you can do. And then C is always going to ask for an explanation that requires judgment. But on top of that, of course, you'll need to give examples and you'll need to give facts to prove that your explanation and your judgment are correct somehow. And it's always in the form of a short essay. So what do you need to know to answer them correctly? The most important thing is to respond to the command verb. So if you're asked to describe, you describe. If you're asked for reasons why, you explain the reasons why. If you're asked for a how far question and to explain it, you explain how far of whatever they're asking for. And then, of course, you give your judgment. You must answer to these words. If you don't, your question is worth basically no points, or your answer. As you can see, obviously, they go, let's say, the further you go, the more complex the questions are. So A is always going to ask you for details on the history. B is always going to ask you to analyze, compare, contrast, and all those wonderful words you probably hate from your classes. And C is always going to ask for your opinion on the last paragraph of the short essay you're going to write. On the following videos, what we are going to see, we're going to leave this here for now, but on the following video, what we're going to see is how to analyze each one of these tasks and how to show somehow this level of complexity in all of them. How we as students can show the examiner that we can go from describing simple details to giving our opinion based on judgment and facts. So I hope you like it so far. Click on the next video for you to be able to continue seeing this.